Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I know I am. And I truly hope you had a magnificent weekend. It was beautiful. So, as usual, I spent most of my weekend cleaning, but during my breaks, I decided to work on this painting here. It ended up taking about 4 hours ish, and I really like how it came out. So this is a view I used to have when I lived up 3 Mile. This was right outside my front door of my little cabin. I am using air quotes. It really wasn't a cabin, maybe more like a micro shed. I remember when I'd lay down, I could touch all 4 walls. It was that tiny, had a little loft to sleep on, which I didn't trust, so I used for storage, and did not have running water. Had one outlet. It was probably the worst place I've ever lived. But it had a gorgeous view outside the front door. So that is what I'm going to share with you. So I really wanted to just start with a lot of color on this one, as you can see. And I kind of started to block out all the color, got all the colors out there I thought I might use. And then I started in the back, working in the dark areas, just trying to get those leaves to really pop out. Some of you might be wondering by this point what kind of brushes I might use, and I really only use one brush at the moment. I used to use a whole lot of brushes, and I got to a point where I was spending most of my time, thinking about what brush I was going to use, or, what technique and all that, and spending very little time actually painting. When you get to a point where you're spending more time thinking about painting and not painting, then you kind of stagnate and you start losing it. So I found one brush that I really like. I don't even know where it came from. It's just called watercolor, and it's kind of got a watercolor shape, like the shape of a splotch from a watercolor. It blends really well, and I like the way it looks, so I just use the watercolor at different opacities and sizes. And another thing I think is of worth note, I previously I'd used to use hundreds of layers, and it got confusing, and I'd end up just kind of creating a new layer semi where it was supposed to go every time I needed to fix a certain layer, and I'd end up with hundreds of layers at the end, and the file sizes were huge. So it was not only wasting space, but it was also causing a considerable amount of confusion and wasted time trying to find where things are. So I am trying to develop a new kind of way of doing things. I use maybe 5 layers at the most. In one of my, like the wolf drawing I am doing right now, I have, I think, 6 layers. But for a painting like this, I kept it to 2 layers. I got a background layer and then a layer on top of it. I just kind of use it for getting a drawing and then blocking the colors out. And then after that point, I am on a single layer throughout the remainder. Unless I'm going to try something completely out there, something off the wall that I'm not sure will work, I'll put it on a new layer. In case it doesn't work, then I could just delete it and start from where I knew I liked it. So this painting was kind of different for me. The lighting is one that I've never really tried before. It was noon lighting, so the light was directly above me, but there were some big trees above as well. So the light was filtering down through the trees straight down onto the ground. So I was trying to capture that filtered noon sunlight. I think came out pretty good. I feel pretty good about it. At this point, it's probably hard to tell what exactly this is, but this is actually a creek bed. It's called 3 Mile Creek, I believe. I know the road was called 3 Mile, and I'm pretty sure the creek was as well. But I will get to the water later. I decided to start drawing everything underneath the water first. Normally, I would just kind of wing it with water. I'm trying something a little different this time. So I paint all the rocks and everything on the bottom of the water. And then I'm going to come in and paint the water last. And I'm really liked how this had come out so far. Almost even the rocks almost look like they're underwater already. It might just be me because I know that there's water there, but it felt like they look like they're underwater. And I haven't done this before, but if you're watching and you like this, it'd be really good for me if you would like the video and possibly subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy this painting, I'm going to continue doing paintings like this. If I get enough feedback and people are interested in seeing something else, then I might change it up. But until I hear differently, I'm going to continue doing paintings like this. So here I am darkening around where the tree's coming down just to make those branches pop more and show the rocks underneath better. So this is a point where I would have added a second layer on top. I didn't know if this technique for doing water was going to work out or not. This is the first time I've done it this way. So I added a new layer and tested it out, and it ended up looking exactly like what I wanted it to. It could have been better, but I liked it, so I kept it. One of my biggest problems is I'll overwork things and it looks good, and then I keep going and make it look worse, trying to make it look better. So I'm really one of the things I'm really trying to do is avoid doing that. So there were things that I thought I might like to do to it, but it looked good enough that I kept it, and I really like how it came out. So here I'm just finishing up the last little bits of the water. I'm going to move, the whole stream down, and then I'm just going to go over and touch everything up real quick. I added just small little touches of color here and there. There are a few rocks that after adding the water, the shape didn't quite work anymore. So I touched those up, stuff like that. And then I was going to finish the piece off. The stream that I was painting had this tiny little tree that kept trying to come in every year. And so it was just this tiny little tree. And the last little bit I did is adding that tree. More branches, really. And as I went in, I kind of noticed the green I had been using was a little too uniform. So I went around and added little bits of color to the rest of the leaves, changed up the tone of them a little bit, added some shadows. All that was left was to touch everything up and sign it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I went a little bit longer this time. Maybe had a few more things to say. I'm really trying to work on that, but hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.